Um,
Okay.
it's a good birthday. But you mostly don't really do much unless anybody had any plans.
Yes, Susanna would like to make a bomb.
Is that something you could do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, though, I would say Susanna would. No, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to derail this. Susanna does nothing.
Susanna!
Okay.
Susanna thinks really hard about what to do with those salamander scales. And that is all Susanna does.
Honestly, I kind of just made them up, so I don't know what you're gonna do with that.
I'm gonna do shit with it, and you're gonna let me.
Debatable, but we'll see.
Oh, yes, we will.
Try. I mean, you're part of the goddom, so whatever.
And you pass the night once again in the Cranky Duck.
Yes. We gotta find a new haunt, you guys.
No, we need to stay at the Cranky Duck for the rest of our fucking career.
And end of our journeys, we buy the Cranky Duck.
Good idea.
No.
Great idea.
Discussion for another time.
And in the morning, you find yourselves once again gathered around that same table. The woman, the tavern owner, just kind of gives you the same shit. You seem to be like almost fading into the background of the tavern and the inn at this point.
We're part of the scenery now.
Yep.
As you do pass, you see that there's a couple new postings on the job board. And you see this because you see a woman leave one there and walk out just as you're coming down the stairs.
Intriguing.
Vias will go investigate this job board, because last time they got paid pretty well for the other jobs they did.
Susanna will accompany him for similar reasons.
So we'll bird after them.
Well, alongside the sort of familiar, like, clear out some rat jobs, there are 3 pieces of paper that catch your eye. One of them is on very nice stationery. Not as quite as nice as the original posting you got for Charlie, but sort of on the upper side of that. One looks a little bit more sort of like a torn out piece of a notebook paper that's been kind of scrawled sort of haphazardly. And the last one is a piece of paper with a sketch of a young man on it with basically "Have you seen me" written underneath of it. The very nice one sort of proclaims, without much detail, sort of a job being offered by a local noble. And another one has the torn out piece of notebook paper has the least amount of notes. That just reads, "Do you want to help with history? Contact me." And the name is Tanil Zamora.
First of all, does that
Spell that, please.
that person look familiar to any of us?
Make a history check.
Okay.
Fuck, roll 20.
Pull up that sheet.
Open roll 20.
Tanil.
History's my speciality. No, it's not.
Zilmora.
Let's see. Hey, a 2! It's better than a 1.
Oh, I should open roll 20.
But does Vias recognize any of the handwriting on these at all?
No.
Okay, so none of them are actually Charlie's handwriting.
No, none of them are.
Okay.
You would check if specifically the noble, the very upper ranking stationary, that is Seichi Hiroshisa, which I will put that.
Please and thank.
That's a history check. That's a 19.
You do not recognize him, no.
Oh,
Damn.
man.
That was pretty good for me.
Vias rolled a 2. He don't know shit.
Okay, let's write some fucking notes.
Oh my god, my eyes are so unfocused. I might have to rely on you guys to do notes. Oh.
I got this.
And then
What
underneath the have you seen me, there's a note that says that names the young man as Max Sains, which I will also. With a line that basically reads, please give any information to Luana Sains. And the young man in the photo is, looks like younger side of 20s, sort of like not exceedingly well kept, but like put together, human. It's a black and white sketch, so you don't really know colors or anything.
Mm-hmm. The noble was asking about history, right?
The noble was basically offering a sort of search, find, and retrieve job.
Oh, right, okay, sorry. I switched those in my head. Ugh.
No, you're good. Tanel Zilmora is the one asking about history.
Gotcha.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I have not the faintest interest in helping with history.
I do not know any of the history of this place. I mean, I know
do not know any of the history of this place.
Yeah, I mean, I know Haven's history and like Marquette and stuff, but the Caldor is another.
There's not enough information to go by for that particular request, and frankly, it just seems a bit sketchy.
It sounds like a lot of book work. I don't think that's our speciality. Maybe.
If you want to roll a history check on the name Tanel Zilmora, you can.
Yes. Hey, Vice got an 18 on that one. Oh, natural one.
PK, you know shit. Jack shit.
I know shit.
Vias, you would have heard of Zilmora as a scholar from the Lyceum who focuses on sort of forgotten or otherwise obscure civilizations that have either faded or are no longer in existence or otherwise just are on the decline. They sort of poked around Haven for a minute before realizing, oh shit, nope, that is not part of my speciality.
Vias does that thing in like anime where they like put their hand, their fist in their hand, and he's like, "Oh, that's the guy who's blacklisted from Haven." Now I remember. He tried poking his nose into things. My grandfather told me about him. We sent a bunch of sentries after him, scare him off.
But he is very well known as a historian and an archaeologist.
Lovely. Okay, that's good information.
Sounds sketchy to me.
I mean, there's a lot of sketchy people in this world. Not all of them are bad.
What? Yes, they are.
Vice
Which-
just points at himself. Am I bad? I'm pretty sketchy, I think.
Honey, you're not sketchy. You don't even know what sketchy means. Don't.
Vice gives
Which-
you a look.
Susanna's not paying any attention. Parker, which so you said we saw somebody pin one of these up. Which one did we see get pinned?
That would have been the missing persons poster.
Oh,
Was
there
it
a woman who had pinned
recently
it up,
enough
right?
that the individual who pinned it up would still be within the vicinity?
She's no longer in the Cranky Duck, but you might be able to find her if you move quickly.
Excuse me for just a minute, and Susanna moves quickly.
Okay,
Vice will run after her.
you burst out onto the street, and you see a little bit down the road a woman with sort of a threadbare shawl over her shoulders, and like from the back you can see like long dark wavy hair, and she is sort of making her way with purpose down the street.
Susanna will hustle to catch up, but not so much that it is undignified and unladylike.
Yeah, it's easy to catch up. She's moving with purpose, but she's not like particularly fast. As you get older, you notice that's probably because she has this limp. She has a limp.
Okay.
But you catch up to her, and she hears you coming, and she sort of turns around to like sort of let you pass, because she doesn't like sort of stepping out of the way, assuming you're not coming for her.
Excuse me, miss, are you the individual who just posted that missing persons over in the Cranky Duck?
Yes. Hi. Should I have not done that? Should I take it
Oh
down?
no, that is exactly the spot you ought to have posted that. I was only asking because I saw it and it caught my attention.
You see in her hand is a couple more copies of that poster as well.
I see that this young man is missing. What is the situation as you know of it?
Her face gets kind of like long and sort of solemn, and just goes, my son's been missing for about a month now, and the watch won't help, so I was going to see if I couldn't find any, good-hearted adventurers or mercenaries or something. I don't have a lot of money, but I'd like to find my son.
Vice kind of like pops up and is like, when was the last time you saw him?
Oh, he left about 3 months ago, headed... Shit, what's a map of Tal'Dorei? I am...
Is there one in the resources?
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
I had a good map of Tal'Dorei. I wonder if I can
Hold
find
on.
it. Oh no, there is one in resources, because Amy, I think, put it up there. That was really nice.
Yes. I just need to look at it. Northeast from here. No, northwest from here. He was trying. I don't know what he was doing. He kept talking about going to find or something.
Find what?
I think he wanted, and the last letter I got from him said he was going looking for something. I haven't gotten anything from him in about a month, and I'm worried.
Well,
did he ever tell you what like town he was going to?
Yeah. She starts. You see now she has sort of this satchel on her hip, like sort of like a messenger bag. And she starts digging through papers, and you see there's more of the missing persons. And then she pulls out a collection of what look like folded letters, and she starts kind of flicking through, looking, and she eventually comes. She comes to one, and she scans it. Sorry, I am trying to stall for time as I
That's
fantasy
okay,
name
don't worry
generators
about it.
myself. Mr. Near. Yeah, Kessberg. A small village called Kessberg, he says. And she shows you the paper, and it's sort of in writing of like, it's very scratchy, not very organized handwriting, not very neat handwriting. A little bit grammatically broken in places. But it mentions staying in a town called Kessberg and heading out into the jungle in the morning.
All right. So he didn't say anything about what he was looking for. Did he have any like passionate things that you know about, like magic or studies of some sort?
Darling, how about we take this conversation back to the cranky deck so we're not just standing out in the middle of the street in this cold?
Oh, right. I didn't even remember.
And ma'am, don't worry, because I believe we are just the kind-hearted adventurers you are looking for. Why don't you come with us?
I'm sure you would like some tea, possibly. We could get you some.
She nods, and you see, like, there is age on her face. She looks approximately upper 50s, and she gives you the name Luanna.
Luanna. Okay.
Spelling question mark?
Yeah, I was.
Luanna.
Lunna?
Anna.
Good, okay. That's right. I spelled it wrong, but I spelled it in a way that it sounded like that.
She follows you back to the Cranky Duck, still sort of clutching those papers in her hands. She goes, Max was always, he always really liked stories, you know? I told him too many, I think, about adventurers and old myths and legends, all sorts of things.
Was there any that he particularly liked or found particularly inspirational?
She sort of pauses for a minute. Well, a lot of the old Vox Machina tales, of course. But, there was one about some sort of city. Oh, she sort of rubs at her eyes. His father always talked about it. Some sort of city of gold. Eppley was what it was called. Some old flight of fancy about finding a city made of gold in the middle of a jungle.
Doesn't that sound like where he went? Possibly.
Oh, I hope not.
I mean,
I would hope he's smart enough to realize that sort of story isn't true.
Well, there's certain ages where there's magical things. Maybe this place does exist.
A city of gold that no one's found? You would think it would have been ransacked by now, no.
Bias just gives a smile.
So, but we can assume he went into the jungle looking for something, regardless of whether it was this lost city of gold that may or may not exist, but probably does not. And then perhaps it's just difficult to get letters out in the jungle, and he's found himself a quaint little way of living while he searches for this item or place, whatever it may be. But
No, I feel like something's bad happened to him. Mother's intuition.
right, mother's
Bias
intuition.
just nods. Well, we can figure out something. I mean, at the very least, we can go to this Kesberg and see if he's returned, or if anybody knows anything.
Her eyes kind of go wide, and she starts to kind of fidget. And she's, I don't have a lot to pay you.
Nonsense, and he kind of waves her off a little bit.
Darling, we don't work for money.
I mean, we kill
Well,
beasts for money, but
in this
finding
instance, we don't work
people-
for money.
Yeah, we don't.
So
find
Ella just
people
kind of
for money.
nods at that.
I'd rather have peace of mind for people than to take their gold from them. Honestly.
You would do this for me? I can't. I would go to Kesberg myself, but my husband is he can't be on his own anymore.
Is he in bad decline?
Yes, I don't suspect he'll make it much past the year. But
I'm very sorry.
it's all right. He's lived a very good life, and he's still with us for the moment. I worry about Max.
Well, Miss Luana, we shall endeavor to return your son to you before the year is out, and hopefully much sooner than that.
Yes.
Or at the very, very least, bring word of his safety and what he has been up to in this time whilst neglecting to write to his mother.
She grabs one of your hands and sort of presses a kiss to the back of it and just goes, "Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what to say besides thank you."
No,
Thank you is enough.
I mean, you don't even need to thank us right now. It's honestly nothing that needs to be thanked for. There's certain people that aren't as good-natured, but that doesn't mean everybody's not.
Yes,
Have
there was. I did run into a group who said they were going to, but then asked for more than I could pay, and I was worried I'd have to accept their offer.
Those assholes. So Ella just kind of says in an unfamiliar voice.
Oh, Ella.
Zoella, use polite language when you're in polite company.
Polite language and polite company.
Exactly.
Apologies, miss.
It's all right. It's all right.
Is there anything else you can tell us? Maybe a description of him, like color hair or eyes, skin
Yeah.
tone?
He was he's a little bit taller than I am. You know how boys get. He has my hair. His father's nose, kind of long, and it's crooked from where he broke it as a kid.
Fias touches his own past broken nose.
Boys will be boys.
He's green eyes. I don't know what else might be.
Age, possibly.
Oh, he's 23.
Alright.
23.
He has a birthmark behind his left ear.
Birthmark behind the left ear.
Alright.
Okay. Alright.
And it seemed like they were all human, correct?
Yes, Luana looks human.
Okay.
and the picture that you see now Luana must have drawn
Poor thing.
has looks human as well. The ears are rounded. And
Okay. Gotcha. Wow, he's about Vias's age.
How
Poor
tall
kid.
is Luana?
Luana's kind of a short woman. She appears to be about 5'3".
Okay.
So he's well above 5'3".
Luana kind of had motioned a little bit with her hand, and you put him at approximately about 5'5".
Okay.
Taller than Vias. That's
I was gonna say,
tall.
so taller than Vias, which is what matters.
How tall is Vias? Oh my
Vias
god.
is
5'4".
5'4".
Little dweeb.
I think Dylan is taller than him by 2 inches.
No. Dylan's 5'8" because Dylan is Susanna's height when
Oh
Susanna's
shit,
wearing
you're
heels.
right.
And Susanna's 5'8" with the heel.
That's really funny because Vias is short. Wow. Okay.
Alright, miss, would you like us to walk you home? I mean, we need to talk to the rest of our group about travel details and the like, but we can walk you home if you want and then come back to do that.
Oh, I can walk home. I know the city very well, but I appreciate it.
Alright. We will send word when we are departing and when we arrive in Kessberg, and frankly, whenever we find any other juicy little tidbits.
And if you need to leave any information with us, if you think of anything at all, I'm sure you can leave it with the manager here. We usually stay here. So.
We frequent this inn.
All right. Thank you. Thank you again so much. And she actually looks a little bit close to tears, but she sort of keeps her composure and gets up from the table and starts to walk away.
Susanna fans herself.
Vias kind of like puts his hand in his chin in his hand and just hums, thinking.
Zoella preens.
I do hope nobody else had any time pressured plans that they were intending to pursue, because I do not feel like letting go of this commitment.
Talia shakes their head. They're still kind of like had like a mouthful of breakfast and had been kind of listening to the conversation sort of wide-eyed and a little bit confused.
Vias just pours some tea and takes a sip.
I suppose I ought to have consulted with folks, but
I think Diona is just like, no, this is valid.
I mean, I think it's fine. We didn't have a direction to go anyways, really. And the things that I want to do, I can do later.
Northwest is a better direction than many.
This continent confuses me sometimes.
Huh?
I'm still learning the places here.
Ah, yes, that makes sense.
I mean, it's kind of hard to miss stuff when you're in a desert place. Things that are marked are usually
Understandable.
oases. What was that?
I said it's understandable that it's hard to miss stuff when you're in a desert.
You just need to follow the stars, you know.
Right.
Talia kind of swallows their last little bit of food and just goes, so are we leaving then soon?
I don't see why we should stay. I mean, we have the coin to move. Did we want to get horses or something?
Well, let's figure out exactly how far away Kessberg is, and then we can decide what elements of supplies we might be lacking for this journey.
Honestly, I don't remember what's in our party funds. I don't know who has that information.
We've got decent enough cash money, but I don't know how far away. What the fuck is
Yeah.
Cash money.
I'm just saying in general to have a couple like horses.
We
to
have
wagon.
751 gold.
Hey,
You guys are poor.
nice.
Shut up, Jamie. You don't have to say that every time.
What the hell did you just say?
I said you guys are poor.
Oh yeah, I mean, That was Mari's thing. We ended up like killing off a baroness, so
Whatever,
our fault.
Mari. Giving you
I don't
guys
know.
cash money.
In my West Marches game, I got paid, let's see, like 1,500 because we did a treasure hunt. You're like, you guys need to just do better quests, I guess.
Well, it's
Are you
mostly 'cause
saying
we don't
that
really give
helping
each
this
other-
woman out of the goodness of our heart
Oh,
isn't
no,
a
that's
good
a good-
quest?
No, that's a good quest.
What we need to do is just put more magical items out into the world and be like, free, take them.
No.
Hello, Josh.
But then
Josh.
what if they're cursed?
I mean, that's fine too.
Give Susanna the
Cursed
curses.
is
She's
better
got
than
enough
none.
already.
Hey, Josh. The party has agreed to go find a missing boy.
A
We lost
missing
my
man. He
boy.
is 23.
Hello?
Hello.
No.
Hi.
Ilana's
I
lost
was-
her boy.
I'm sorry I'm late. I was watching Super Mario 64 videos.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
okay. You missed Bias and Susanna having a bleeding heart moment and agreeing to go find a woman's missing son for free.
It wasn't because of a
Well-
bleeding heart, but you can keep believing that if you want.
It's mostly because we have plenty of money in our party funds and I feel comfortable doing things for free.
That is not Susanna's motivation.
Vias cares about people enough. He's a good man. Plus, if this was
Susanna just
his
wants people
kid-
to think she cares about people.
Yeah, I mean, Vias would have rolled an insight check, but I think he knows her enough to know
Oh,
she didn't.
Joe's awake as well.
Joe.
Joe? I want to drink some of the drinks. I'm thirsty.
Oh no.
Oh.
Also, that's how you spell the city, Eppley.
Thank God.
Eoli.
I literally spelled it like Appleade. I couldn't tell.
You can ask me for spellings.
Yep.
We could, but I feel annoying after the third time I've done it, so I just did it.
Actually, I spelled it like Apple-lie, so I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
I'll wait for Joe to get here so before I give
Apple-lie.
her and Josh the quick rundown.
Alright, Ellen.
Hi,
How are you doing, Josh?
Hmm?
I cannot hear you.
Yeah,
You're quiet, child.
Nope.
Nope. Mumble. No. At least I'm recording.
And Josh will be able to hear his mumbling.
Quiet. I still need to freaking put up the other episodes. Damn it, I keep forgetting. At least this weekend is a 3-day week. I can do that. Oh man, I'm sweaty. Yuck. Okay.
Cutting out Elizabeth Bennet's head and the pressure is on. I'm really scared. Did I bring my Exacto knife? That might be
Where did it go?
Most artists.
Oh man, my poor laptop. I can hear the fan running so bad. That's gross. Ugh.
bad news, y'all. I didn't bring my second Exacto knife.
on your butt
These
now?
are the end times. Dewey Crow. If Elizabeth Bennet's hair gets fucked up, it is not my fault.
It'll be my fault since I
It'll be
brought up
Jamie's
most
fault because I got
artificial.
distracted by the Bill and Ted thing.
Or we just wait for Josh.
Josh and Joe, likely.
Josh.
Oh wait, is Joe awake?
Yes.
Wow, a whole ass Joe.
Oh man, I left Joe and Parker at home and I meant to redo Parker's whole entire person, so that's gonna take a while.
Oof.
Cause Parker got new hair.
Parker did get new hair.
And I fucking hated the way that flannel turned out, and we're gonna have to redo the whole damn thing.
Oh.
Where are the two J friends?
J.
Josh.
Josh.
Josh. Excuse me.
Anyway, Talia's chill to go whenever y'all want to go.
Heck yeah. Bias is ready for adventure even though he's scarred for life from the temple.
Would Susanna know where Kesberg is in relation to Kaimon?
Make a history check.
Ugh, that historically has not gone well for me.
Oh boy.
You know
Don't
what
see what I
history
did there
check is?
historically.
Josh?
Hello?
Hello,
There you are.
Joshua.
Is it better?
Yes.
Yes,
Better.
much
Oh,
much.
thank
Also, I got a
God.
17.
Oh, you would
Oh.
know that Kesberg is approximately a week's ride from Kaimon.
Gross.
Maybe we should get some horses.
Well, you should probably get some horses. Jesus.
Yeah,
We
or
should
at least
probably
like a
get some
wagon and two
horses.
horse and one horse because I have one horse and he can pull enough.
Yeah, we could get a cart.
Or a covered wagon.
Is
So we're not
Talia
doing
riding
this.
Diona right now?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Since Joe's not here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna look at Diona and ask to be picked up. Just arms in the air, like grabby hands.
I'm sure Diona is okay with this.
Zoella is baby.
Kenku, listen, Kenkus like to be high up, okay?
Kenkus are baby.
They are a baby.
Why
They're
do you think
bastards.
Bias adapted her?
So, Josh, really quickly,
Yeah.
there were new jobs on the job board. Vice and Susanna decided to ignore two of them.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Look, this one is heart wrenching.
Yeah. This one is good.
This last one was a missing persons poster, put up by the missing man's mother, who has then
Kenkus loves
asked
him.
the party to find her son, please.
Okay.
Find her boy.
The last known location of him was a town called Kesberg, in which that he said he was about that at one point he mentioned departing for the jungle from. And Josh is on mute. So also fuck you, there's a jungle in the middle of Tal'Darai now.
Sure, that's fine.
Go fuck
Sorry.
yourselves.
My dad was talking to me for a second.
It's okay.
Alright.
The last known location of this boy was a town called Kesberg, in which he mentioned he was leaving for the jungle the next soon. because now there's a jungle. Go fuck yourself.
It's
Jungle,
fun.
jungle,
Jungle,
jungle.
Bias did
jungle.
figure out that he had like um had thoughts about finding this possibly because apparently it was a story that he liked of a city of gold.
Yeah, he went into the jungle to find something, and apparently he really liked this story about a city of gold in the jungle, so we're assuming he was going for the city of gold and not just some random.
That sounds like Europeans exploring Florida in the 1500s.
Yeah.
And South America.
Yeah.
I perhaps took in a little bit of inspiration from a Disney film.
I wonder which one it could be.
Let's go.
Certainly not the gay one.
Oh, please. I love it.
Were you watching Road to El Dorado earlier?
This is a
Oh
fun
no,
event.
I've had this one in planned for a while now.
Oh, much excite.
I'm
Much
running my
excite.
IRL friends through this as well, so you are kind of,
We're the guinea pigs.
kind of, yes.
No, that's fair. I get that.
Well, guinea pigs get snacks. Do we get snacks?
Sure.
Snacks
Nice.
galore.
You know, technically we're like mice because nobody uses guinea pigs anymore in lab work.
But they're so cute.
They are cute. There's one in my house.
And they go wheat.
Aw. And they go
Uh,
wee.
There's one in my house. It's the worst way to say I have one as a pet.
There's the one that lives in my house. This one's mine.
Yeah, you know. His name is
So
Arnie.
I have no idea when or if Joe will be joining us, so I guess we can continue for now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we can always write down the synopsis in the
Yeah.
RP chat thing.
Alright. Yeah, Susanna, you would know that Kesburg is about a week's ride northwest.
Well, Casperg is about a week's ride northwest, so we would want to outfit ourselves for such an expedition.
I mean, I think another horse and a covered wagon might be a good idea. So we're out of the
Zoella
elements.
makes horse noises.
What's a covered wagon?
It's a wagon with a cover on it.
A
Next
waxed
question.
top over the top.
Why?
To keep the rain off. Next question.
Susanna.
What, Vice? What? Do you have a problem with the way I'm answering these
Next
questions?
question.
Susanna,
Next
Chilling.
question.
I don't have a next question. What do I do?
Well, then you can say there is no next question and the conversation can be concluded. How exciting is that?
There is no next question and the conversation can conclude. How exciting is that?
Very good.
There is no next question, and the conversation can conclude. How exciting is that?
Oh wow, you can do my voice too?
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
wow, you can do my voice too?
This is going poorly. I don't know what I expected.
Dylan has this look of delight on his face that none of you have ever seen before.
Oh
Like
no,
you-
here it goes.
Like, you've maybe seen him smile twice, and this is just full on beaming. Like,
Zoella's just
excitement.
preening herself.
Zoella. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, Bias wears a mask of indifference. He rolled a natural 20 in his performance check.
Bias is good.
Can I roll a stupidity check for Dylan?
Bias is hard as
Sure.
pounding.
Intelligence check.
Oh no.
Well, that's just a -1 now. That's less fun.
That's so sad.
I love him.
It's still a 2.
That's so on brand. Oh my god.
Oh, I love it. Oh my god.
I like how the advantage was also just as bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have
No,
been if
that
it
was
wasn't a
stupid.
-1.
Oh god, I wish I had the -2, so it was a 1. That's so on brand.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had gotten a 1, and then it would be like a -1.
Yeah, isn't that great? I love that for him.
Wait, does
Dylan's
that
got-
mean when it's negative? Does that mean you technically know it? Because you can't go negative knowledge. That means you would suddenly gain knowledge.
Oh yeah, is it like video games where
You
if you
lose your memory each time you recall something.
Dylan like thinks so hard he loses brain cells?
Yes.
The next time Dylan rolls a natural 20 on an intelligence check, he goes back down to a 7.
Yeah. I like that.
Oh my god.
That is gonna be canon if I'm DMing.
Oh no.
Watch him just roll that
Anyway.
once forever.
So what's the plan?
Get
A
another horse
tiny
and a
covered
wagon.
wagon, also a horse.
Vias has one horse. We just need one more. And a covered
Vias,
wagon.
pardon me if this is a particularly crass question, and believe me, I'm not attempting to suggest anything by it, but couldn't you, with
Be
your
a horse?
magic, be a horse? Yes, exactly.
For 1 hour only.
Okay.
Twice a day.
That
So
is good to know,
technically
though.
yes, but I think we should get another horse because I cannot do that.
Oh,
for very long.
absolutely. It would not be fair to you in the slightest. But also, it's just, good to know just in case.
I mean, if you need a mount, I can do that. That's fine. But don't ask me to
Well,
do it
I
all
don't
the
think
time.
it would be appropriate for anybody to ride on you. But let's move on from that
I
conversation
mean, I
and
don't
get.
mind.
I hate
So
this whole
Nope, let's not talk.
That's
Let's not talk about it, and let's go on and get. I've completely made a mistake here. Let's
This
go
is so
find a.
awkward.
All right.
Vias is just grinning like the cat that ate the canary. He knows what he did.
Susanna is just walking away.
All right. You can find a stable that will sell you both a horse and a wagon. It is like a little livery. So that will cost you. Do you want a riding horse or a draft horse?
I mean, just a
Or-
general riding horse might be good, but
Yeah, riding horse would be probably because draft horses can carry a lot more, but they're slower.
yeah.
Aren't we trying to pull a wagon?
Yes, but either way, it's gonna be the same speed because I only have a riding horse.
Okay.
So
All
as
right.
long as I have two.
I will note that a wagon is. No, wait. Together, you're fine. Together, you're fine. Because for some reason, when two horses are pulling a thing, you don't add them together. It's like 2.5 amount of pulling power. That's some weird horse science for you.
That's so many
horse
horses.
science.
Together that will approximate with enough like also like tacking gear and such. That will be 112 gold
Okay.
for the horse, the tacking equipment, and the wagon.
112 gold for the lot.
Yes, for the lot.
Filling that out of the party funds, right? We're not trying.
Yes, because I don't have that kind of money. I think Vias has like 30 gold in his pocket.
I do have that kind of money, but there's no way in hell I'd spend it. So.
Yeah, Vias has 38 gold, so he's got nothing to his name basically. It's all in the party funds. If you guys leave him, he's screwed.
Okay.
I think Vias would suggest to be like, okay, maybe while we're here, we should get another saddle just in case. We want to take them off of the, wagon to just ride.
The saddle wasn't part of the tacking.
It wasn't or was?
It was.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I misunderstood.
No, you're good.
Alright, well that's fine. We're good.
What does our horse look like? Our new.
It is a pinto.
Oh, I love pintos.
Aw.
They're cuties.
It's still early in the day. You could probably start going and get about a day's worth of travel if you wanted to.
Oopsies. I mean, perhaps we should? What do you think?
Yes, let's get started. Why don't we? That's a good idea.
Yes, let's get started. Why don't we?
Honey, could you not I don't know. It sounds weird. My voice sounds weird when you do it.
She just preens at you.
Okay, I don't know what that means because I don't know
Oh,
what birds are
preening
supposed to.
is just when they clean their feathers. You know, where they peck themselves, clean their
Okay. I
Yeah.
somehow feel like you're being rude to me, but I can't. I don't have any way of proving that. So
No, she's just a bird.
You just watch Mercy copy the movement.
see, I don't trust what Mercy does because I feel Mercy. I don't know.
She looks up at you, blinks
Oh,
slowly.
don't look at me like that.
She looks back down at herself.
So
and continues
also
to
blinks
preen.
at you.
Mercy does a
Why
couple
is
of
this
chirps
my life
and
right
Vias kind
now?
of laughs.
Why am I here?
Talia is kind of like poking around and sort of climbing on the cart a little bit, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, Vias loads Lucifer's saddlebags into the wagon and like just heaves them in there because that's a lot of shit to carry.
I assume the strong lasses will be doing most of the loading because they are strong and can do shit, whereas Bias is not strong.
Yeah.
Vias is
Vias
average
is a
strong. He can handle himself. If one of the ladies comes to help him, he will let them, but he is done. with it.
Diona would come to help for sure.
He's just not the big strong man. He's not the big weak either, but he's
He's just average. He's just normal man.
Diona will help out,
Bless.
and with
he
that,
is the big strong.
it doesn't
Diana
take
is
too.
big strong.
It doesn't take too long, and you gather the rest of your party. What do you do?
I think we should head out. Was the gold ticket down to the party funds?
I don't know. Was it?
I don't
Yes,
know.
it was.
Okay, bless, because I don't know where it is
Who's
at
in
this
charge
point.
of the party fund?
Wait, where the fuck is the party fund in game?
It's in the underneath the characters tab.
Party fund, loot fund. Oh, there we go. I don't know if I didn't do anything. I'm also, by the way, I was holding the health potions, but I think I don't know if I put them in there. Maybe I did. Yeah. Good. They're in there. Okay, cool. That's fine. We're good.
Okay. Do you set off?
I suppose so. Maybe get rations or something. But
Wait, was our lease at the Cranky Duck up? Like, did we have any nights left?
I don't. Let's just say
we
no.
had like 2.
Okay.
We only had it booked
Conveniently,
until
we had already run out of nights.
Vias just lets the lady know that the older lady that if she has any
Luana?
information, she's going to be giving it to her to keep for them. So.
Oh, Miss. God, I can't.
Right. My brain is dead today. I'm so sorry.
Miss Sainz.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much.
God, the fucking constant shifting accent of
She's
that one
practicing
lady.
for an acting degree.
You know what? She is. You're right.
She's trying to get out of Kylo.
She took the
live her
actor
life.
All right. She takes that and.
Yep, I think we're good then. I think we should
You
head out.
set off the road from Kymel. There isn't directly a road northwest, but there is one leading north. That you can take.
Sure.
Can I make a perception check on the way?
Vias will also send Mercy out to perceive for us above.
Of course, someone roll at advantage then.
Yes.
Susanna's just gonna be, delicately sitting in the back of the wagon and fanning herself expensively.
Ooh, 13.
I was gonna roll with Mercy, but.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Because she has a +4.
It's
I
a
also have a
nice.
+4.
I'm not really gonna make us all go through a fucking week of travel.
I feel
thank
that.
God.
I just mostly said that in terms of how far away this boy was, at least.
Pretty far.
But with that perception check, I'm gonna say it goes pretty smoothly. You have like one encounter with like a small band of what looks like wolves, but they don't really seem like they want to mess with you. There's too many, and there's a big giant fucking cart. Like they avoid you.
Good.
The nights are cold. The days are a bit colder, actually.
Every morning, Zoella wakes everyone up with the rooster crowing sound.
She's gonna get shot.
I was gonna say, about the fourth morning, Susanna will just loose a shot into the air, like not in actually Zoella's direction, just close enough to her direction that it sounds like it might be.
Zoella just repeats the gunshot sound.
Bias will slowly get up from his place, his hair all mused, and he's gonna walk over to Zoella and just like lay on her. Just sleepy lay on her.
Why, every morning. Can't we just wake up when the sun, like, can't we wake up at a normal hour instead of the crowing of the rooster? You're not even a rooster. Look at
It's not exactly at dawn. It's just whenever she wakes up, which is probably around like 11.
Oh my god. Vias
Or
just
whenever
says,
everyone else makes up.
Vias says in Marquesian to her, okay, don't do that for one, because they don't really understand. Also, it can give away our position, so maybe don't do that also. Please.
She not.
Oh, good. Okay. And he visibly relaxes. I don't want you to get shot, he says in common.
Makes a quiet gunshot sound.
Talia has seemed like over the days getting more used to the idea of wagon travel, but they're still not happy about it.
Oh.
Is Talia not good with wagons, or?
I don't think Talia's been exposed to them before.
No, they don't understand anything besides foot travel.
What about getting closer to Zoella? Is she still on the opposite side of the cart, or?
They
Sorry.
kind of. There's still a little bit of that wary eye. There's like an okay. I guess Zoella's staying with us, but it's not. Talia hasn't like buddied up to Zoella.
Oh yeah, I didn't expect her to. I'm just wondering if she's still hiding on top of Diona. Basically, I guess she's not.
Not anymore, but there's definite avoidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really enjoy the idea of a big black bird.
They don't. They think it's a death omen.
Oof.
Oof.
Poor Talia, I'm so sorry.
Hey, it could be worse. I could be an Aarakocra crow.
Oh, that would be worse.
Even bigger bird.
Aarakocra.
But the week passes mostly without incident. And you come upon Kesberg. At least you. I mean, like you have to go. You eventually have to like take a couple of turns to make sure you're going west and all that. But you find your way. There are signposts that lead you to the tiny village of Kesberg. It is. You crest a hill and you can see basically the entire village. It looks about like a 3-street town.
Oh goodness.
Damn.
There are a couple of farms on your side, and then just on the opposite side of the town, you see tree line. Where it is thick jungle brush.
Oh damn.
Jungle in the snow? Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I mean,
Snow
there's
jungle.
parts of Tal'Dorei that aren't snowy. Apparently,
I specifically was like, you go north, but okay.
I mean, it could just be.
Hey, you could say it's a
Northern
cursed
snow
forest.
jungle is what this is. Let's yeehaw ourselves
Exactly.
down into that.
There's like giant, dire Siberian snow tigers in there.
Oh
You
my
could
god,
just
that's
say
a
it's
great idea.
cursed and just like the whole what do you want to call it? What's it called? The ever whatever the heck it is down by Singorn.
Frostwheel.
There you go, Frostwheel. Goddamn, my
That's
brain.
south
Um,
though.
I know. I'm just saying it can be
The
that
Oh,
the,
way
yeah.
the
too,
front
but
the front of the trees has snow. That's all I'll say.
That's
yes.
wait. That's where the frost placement is frost from.
Um,
I don't know
but
anything about Singhorn.
you hit this town at approximately noon.
Okay, what's the real number attached to that
Oh
approximately?
my god.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
12:42.
Thank you for putting up with.
12. Go fuck yourself.
Um, if this episode title isn't Snow Jungle, go fuck yourself. I don't know what it.
That's a good suggestion.
um,
Damn. I wish that was setting character.
but it's a very small town, but you can see people moving about, and as you get closer, like there is someone who is coming out of a farmhouse, who kind of looks over. You get the very sense that this is a very small town, and travelers coming to it are sort of they're an event. They certainly are an event.
All right.
Um,
Does it look like any of these people are hostile?
no, this original farmer you see just kind of like puts his like it's a human man, and he just kind of puts his arm like hands on his hips and just kind of like looks at you like, huh, like kind of gives you the eye over, just kind of. You're also kind of an interesting group with a giant water ganassi woman and a
Yep.
kenku
Yep.
and
Yeah.
a tiefling.
And a bunch of
Um,
elves.
but
And Miss
honestly,
Frizzle with a gun.
that doesn't seem what he's interested in. He's just kind of more interested that there's travelers at all. Like it's not like the strangers of your group has attracted his eye in any way. And you see what the reason might be as you pass a second farm and you see out there sort of tending to a bit of like cattle in the winter is a Yanti woman.
Oh.
She is mostly on the human side of Yanti, but you can see there is the glittering of scales, as well as she carries what looks like a heat lantern
Oh, well.
next to her. And she kind of also gives you that sort of look. But you are unaccosted as you enter the town.
Vias waves at both of
She
them.
waves back.
Oh, they seem nice.
Oh, I'm sure the locals are very pleasant. People are always pleasant in small towns.
And nosy.
People are always pleasant in small towns.
See, that's a polite thing that you can say. That's the sort of thing you need to say when you're meeting new. Well, don't say that when you're meeting these people but that's the sort of language you can use when you're meeting new people.
She just kind of tilts her head and blinks and nods.
Oh, strange bird. All right, let's find someone to talk to.
Excuse me. Can I have
Um,
Mercy take a look around the town, kind of fly over and see what she sees? If she can spot
Good
a
old Mercy.
man.
Sure, make a perception check.
16.
16. Okay. So the town is sort of shaped like an H. There's like one main street and then two more side streets going perpendicular. The main street does extend a little bit past it, so it kind of looks like a hash mark. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's a very simple town, and the street, all three streets are like lined with buildings. Most of them look like homes, though down the main street there seems to be a shop or two. There's a butchery. There's a tailor. Very much like the small town.
Yeah.
There's one doctor. There's one tailor. There's one butcher, and there is a tavern as well. And you see there are people moving up and down the street, not as many as like you would see maybe in summer, but it looks like a collection of human and Yanti, who there are a couple that are more snake-like than the woman you saw out in the farm. There's one particularly that mostly just looks kind of like a walking snake.
Alright.
And the Yanti, Mercy notices are all carrying these like heat lanterns, and you can see now where there are patches on the streets where the snow has melted, and there are more like these heat lanterns fitted into the like street lights.
Gotcha. A path for
Um,
them, basically.
yeah, and you can see around one of them there's a couple of young just kind of snuggled up to it as an older Yanti man is um, bartering and talking with a butcher. It just kind of looks like a town. The only distinctive feature would be the presence of what seems to be a sizable Yanti population.
Alright. Vias relays this stuff while, like, letting Mercy continue her circle. So it seems like there's, like, a lot of Yuan-Ti living here in harmony with the population here. It just seems like normal town life. I also didn't see hide or hair of that other person, though. Max.
What do you say?
Yuan-Ti.
Yon. What?
I believe they are the snake people, yes.
That's cool. I wish I was a snake.
Well, do you think we ought to try just step into the tavern then and see if there's anything to be found there first?
I mean, that seems like the best option. Usually people are more willing to talk in taverns, so.
Well, shall we then?
Vias
Yeah, it's
yeah.
very easy to get to the town. Again, people kind of look at you, and the main street is the only one you can fit the wagon down. The side streets are smaller than that.
That's fair.
But you're not really.
Sorry.
You're not.
Oh, is there a tavern we can see at all, or?
Yes, there is a tavern. You can see sort of the sign hanging out. It's called the Old Heart Tavern. And you're not really like even the watch kind of just sort of watches you pass. Like there's not really any move to really stop you. Like it's just kind of a casual small town. Like everyone knows that you're here, or if they don't, they're gonna hear about it pretty soon. But you know what I mean? Like it's very
Yeah.
Yeah, small town life. I get ya. I lived in a place that was small.
it seems very slow and just kind of the Old Heart is an old building, as the name would suggest, but it looks well kept. And as you go inside, there is a roaring hearth.
Is it Heart or Hearth that you said?
Heart,
The name Heart. Okay.
Old Heart. It is manned by a Yanti behind the bar, and there's not many people in here. There's a couple of human people like sort of scattered about. They kind of look like not the leftovers, the regulars.
The leftovers.
The leftovers. Those are Talia's leftovers.
Oh my god. Can we title this one The Leftovers?
Sure.
Hello. Okay.
Okay.
Have fun.
Clean up if you make a mess.
Sure. I'm
Clean
not.
up extra would be awesome.
Sure.
Vacuum the floors because there's lots of cat hair.
Neat.
Feed my fish.
Yeah, I won't let them starve. I like fish.
Keep
And there's Moch.
keep the litter box clean.
Yeah, it's clean. I just cleaned it yesterday. I'll clean it again today.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Um,
Apologies. Andy left the door open.
it's all right.
Okay, but continue. Ow, that hurt.
There seems to be a couple of regulars that are just kind like old farm hands. One of them sort of more built like a smith, just kind of like hanging around, eating lunch, sort of shooting the shit. But then in the corner there is another grouping of people that don't look like they fit in. They are a group of about um there are 4 over there.
What? I got
One of
out.
them, 2 of them look very well armored. Well, the others don't. But they're kind of grouped together and not really interacting much with any of the other people in the tavern.
Who were
And as
these
you
again?
enter,
I'm
the
sorry, I
Yanti
had to-
man goes, "Oh, more travelers? Hello."
Well, I see we are not the first. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Vias just waves enthusiastically.
Good afternoon.
Good
Weird that
afternoon.
we have this many new people here. And you can see that the other sort of party of travelers kind of also sort of looks over.
Insight check on the party of travelers.
Yeah, who are these again? I was
Do they look
distracted when
sketchy?
they,
Do they look sketchy?
Actually, I lied. There are 5 of them. Sure, you can make an insight check.
Yehaw, hold on.
I would also like to. Oh, that wasn't that good. 10. Party
Um,
of 5.
19.
Susanna, they don't look so much sketchy as they just kind of look a little bit suspicious of you in the way that you would be suspicious of them.
Okay.
They do look like adventurers. One of them is a very large sort of Earth Ganassi man. A couple of humans, a dwarf, and an elf. But they're not so much shady as just kind of that same sort of suspicion you would give them being adventurers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
And then they kind of just sort of draw themselves a little bit closer together. But they don't really do much else than that. The bartender just, how can I help you? Welcome to town.
Kesberg?
Well,
Pittsburgh, yes.
Vias will walk up to the bar and just say, "Do you have anything warm to drink? Like any sort of warm alcohols or anything?"
Of course. We have a cider. We have a hot chocolate if you don't want alcohol.
A cider would be perfect.
I would adore a hot chocolate.
I would adore a hot chocolate. Zoella says.
2 hot
See, there's-
chocolates. 2 hot chocolates. Vera probably orders a cider. 2 ciders. Coming right up. And very, very quickly he has sort of 4 steaming mugs. And that will be, in total, about 4 silver.
Vias will take care of that.
Well, thank you, darling.
He just gives you a smile and he hands people mugs.
There is one other empty table that you can sort of commandeer.
I think Vias would linger up by the bar and just ask, We're kind of looking for somebody who might have come through here. Are you familiar with the name Max Sans Sazy? Ah, fuck, I can't say that.
Sains.
Sains, there you
Same.
go.
Oh,
Max Sains.
Max
oh
Sains?
yeah, Max. Yeah, he was in here.
Approximately how long ago?
Oh, he would have been here about a month and a week, I'd say. Something happened to him?
His mother hadn't heard from him in about a month or so, and he had wrote her saying that he had went into the jungle of all places. We wanted to.
The bartender sighs, just was hoping. I was hoping he'd just gotten scared off and gone home. Well,
Why is that? Do you think something bad happened to him in the jungle? There.
of course. Jungle's not safe.
Why isn't it
Has
safe?
it been for centuries?
Can you tell us more about it? What do you know?
Well, it's jungle. There's an old story about there being some sort of lost city in there, but I don't know much about that. All I know is there's something living in there.
Something living in there. I mean, it's a jungle. Things live in there. Well, can you
Oh
give
yeah,
us...
but like something big, something.
What do you mean by something big? Have people seen this thing before?
More like heard it. You just some people call it the beast, the great beast. Um, all I know is that supposedly people go into the jungle don't come out because of that thing.
I mean, has there been anybody who hasn't like left that place okay? Seems kind of dangerous to live in a place near it if people don't come out when they go in.
A couple of people have come out, but they haven't really been able to tell much. But I mean, Kesberg's been here for a while, and some of us, the jungle is sort of the homeland. So if we
Bias.
can't live there, live right outside.
Bias just nods. Right.
Now, supposedly the beast is why no one's been to the city in forever. If it's out there.
So the beast might be guarding that city that people are talking about, the lost city.
Guarding it, maybe? Yeah, I suppose. It's an old story my my grandfather used to tell.
Well, could you tell it to us? I mean, lore of any sort or stories would be helpful. It might glean something for us.
Well, I don't know much, but I can point you to my grandfather.
Vias kind of glances back at everybody else and just nods.
That would be lovely. Why don't you direct us?
Sure, he follow the main street, take a left, third house on the right. My grandfather and my mom should still be there.
Vias sends Mercy telepathically since he had left her outside to go search this area before they get there.
It's just sort of small town.
Thank you kindly, sir. You have been ever so helpful. I think. Vice, do you want to come sit at the table while we finish our drink?
Of course, and he kind of takes a sip and just says, "Oh, it's lovely, thank you. Warms my cold bones." And he'll go sit down and drink his cider.
It's warm inside this tavern, probably because the owner is a Yuan-ti, and therefore at least somewhat lizardy.
Cold-bloody-ish.
And the other sort of group of people, they keep sort of in the same way, like kind of just glancing at you and sort of then keeping a hushed conversation among them.
I think
After like a couple glances, Susanna would just sort of lean over, like she wouldn't stand up, but she'd sort of lean out of her chair and she'd say, "Good afternoon, my name is Susanna Crow. Won't you introduce yourselves?"
They all kind of glance towards the Earth Ganassi, who is this very sort of dark stone, large built sort of individual who kind of looks at you and goes, sure. You can call me Bixby.
Bixby?
Bixby.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Why does that name feel familiar?
Nice to meet you too, Susanna Crow.
I was just surprised. I think, this is such a terribly small town. I get the feeling they don't get many travelers. So it's just the funniest thing that two groups such as ourselves should be in town at the same time. Ain't coincidence a funny thing?
Sure is. And he kind of sort of moves to sort of go back to his conversation with his group.
Well,
you notice now that the two humans look very similar, like as if they were like twins. And the others just kind of huddle in with Bixby.
which ones are heavily armored? I need to know for a reason.
The ones that are heavily armored and one of the.
Okay.
Can Vias stand up and approach them?
Wait, hold on. Spelling for Bixby?
Bixby.
I
Hey,
got
got
it
it right. Jinx. Oh my god. Can Vias stand up and approach them? He'd just do it
Sure.
Oh, wait, no.
What was I gonna say now? Damn it. My brain just stopped working suddenly. Right. Pardon the intrusion. Vias Notary. I was wondering if possibly you guys know of a Max, possibly. I'm not sure if you've been here when he was here, about like a month and a week ago. We're looking for a dear friend in Kaimo.
Bixby sort of crosses his arms and looks at you and goes, "No, he only been here a couple of days."
Oh, and what's brought you here? Are you possibly going to look for that lost city or something?
Employment.
Employment. Oh, that's fun. I mean, that's the same for us.
Good for you.
Vice, dear, we don't want to intrude.
Bias just like raises an eyebrow and takes a sip of his cider and then gives him this like bright grin and just says, "Enjoy yourselves," and saunters back over to the table. And just sits down slowly.
There's no response from Bixby.
Of course.
Well, I suppose any group would have a right to be suspicious of some other group. However, I do feel that they are less hospitable than are the kind folk of this good town.
I have a feeling that they are hired to go in there for some reason. Probably.
Well, probably, but as long as they don't try to interfere with us, it shouldn't cause a problem.
Did it seem like they knew what I was talking about when I mentioned Max? Like, was there any recognition?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Oh, where's my insight? Insight. Ooh, 21.
There was a slight bit of recognition, yes.
Fuck, I wish I had a way to go talk with the lady. Maybe these are the people that had wanted the amount of money that she couldn't pay.
My goodness, I did almost ask about who she had nearly hired. Doesn't matter. Even if it is, it doesn't matter. Because we have to focus on what we are here to do, which has hopefully nothing to do with what they are here to do, and we shan't come into conflict.
He's gonna lift up his hand and lean forward to Susanna and just say, no, I think we should probably start looking soon, because if they find him before we do, they might bring him back to Kaimo and demand payment, or else.
I'm
You
not
know,
sure that that's what they're here for.
I mean, I assume the worst in some people, so.
I assume the worst out of everybody I meet, baby doll, but it doesn't. All right, let's go find that gentleman's grandfather and hear some stories. Why don't?
Yes, that sounds wonderful. And he makes a show of that. Makes it seem like they weren't being suspicious at all.
Make a deception check.
Alright.
Oh God.
Or performance?
Deception.
Either one is fine. 15.
I said deception.
I did.
You don't know if they even really noticed.
Okay, well that's fine. Bias just wanted to be that way. It's better to be flouncy and seem dumb-headed. You know?
Susanna's whole personality? What?
It's why they get each other so well.
I think Vera, Lena, sort of volunteer to sort of stay behind in the inn, just to sort of the tavern, just to sort of keep the table.
Okay.
Right.
That sounds good. I think Vias would have called Mercy back by the time they were leaving the tavern and like held the door open for her so like she could stay in that place with them just in case something happens. And to alert him if that other group makes a move and to follow them. So yeah.
Okay.
That's what he's going to tell her to do. Don't trust them.
You head out to town, and again, you sort of get glances, but no one approaches, no one. There's just kind of like friendly, sort of southern hospitality, like small town hospitality, nods.
Fucking thriving.
Howdy.
And you make it to the it's more of a hut than a house. But then again, not a lot of the homes are very big here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks to be about 2 or 3 rooms, and you sort of knock on the door, and a Yanti woman opens. She is like about half and half way. You know what I'm talking? Like, she definitely has like a humanoid sort of face and like body structure, but it's covered in scales, and you can see like sharp teeth pointing out of her mouth as she smiles. Hello? How can I help you?
Good afternoon, miss. We were just over at the Old Heart chatting with the bartender about some old stories, and he said if we come here, his grandfather might be able to tell us some stories in more detail.
And she kind of gets this look on her face. She's like, oh. I'm sure my son meant well, but would you please do me a favor and just go?
Pardon me. We actually were looking for somebody, and honestly, that information might be very helpful in finding them.
That's what everyone says. They're always looking for something or something. My father has been chasing a legend his whole life. And and she just shakes her head and just goes, just leave us alone, please. And like goes to shut the door.
But
Vice
we'll
will try
have to
and
find
reach out.
another way to satisfy the poor woman who has lost her son and is heartbroken, but bear with.
She stops. The door stops.
We traveled all the
His
way from
name is
Kaimo.
Max Zane. His mother, Luana, is very worried about him.
He's been gone for a month and a week. We want to find him, hopefully alive.
I told that boy not to go in the jungle. I told that boy not to go in the jungle, but no one listens to me. They all want to listen to my.
Can you tell us more about what happened?
If you knew anything about Max that could help us find him, we truly would appreciate it.
That boy Max came here looking for the same thing everyone comes here looking for. The old city of Eppley, just. And I keep trying to tell him that there's nothing out there, that it's an old wives' tale, but
How
I
many
can't
times
stop.
has this happened?
It's happened my whole life. I've always seen adventurers come in to talk to my father about Eppley, and then they all go wandering off into the jungle and they never come back.
Well, does he know about this creature that seems to be...
Of course he does. Everyone knows about the beast.
Well, we don't. Maybe we'll turn the tides on this one. We have to try.
Ma'am, I assure you, we have not the slightest interest in finding that city beyond at least finding some closure for Mrs. Luana.
Yeah,
And
a city of gold is no use to us.
we
Or
just want to
exactly.
find the young man who is lost, or at least figure out exactly what happened to him so that his mother can rest.
So, like, if you found this city of gold, how would you bring it back with you?
Make a persuasion check and advantage.
I can barely hear Dylan. Is anyone else having a problem?
Oh my god.
Persuasion, I think. I have a 3 on. I don't know.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I had
Wait.
my mic too far away from me.
Oh
Are we
my
all
God.
persuading?
I don't
No,
know.
I was just going to do it at advantage.
Okay.
14,
I rolled it twice
yeah.
just for the 14, I'm sorry.
Oh, with an H, she just. You see her, she just kind of puts her head against sort of the wood, the side of the door, and she just goes, I ain't gonna be able to stop you all neither, are I? All right. And she opens the door, and you see inside there is this sort of dirt ground hovel, that like hut building is heated, has those heaters in it, with one door to the right and one door to the left, and she waves you all in and sort of knocks on the door to the right, opens it, goes, and speaks in a language that I doubt any of you know.
What is
See
it?
my spells list. I don't think I have it.
I will check.
Nope, don't.
Um,
Almost definitely don't.
Yeah, I don't think we do. I think it's like specific to the Yuan-Ti
I am
race.
certain that I.
Is it deep speech?
I only know really Celestial and Elvish, so.
I don't think anyone speaks Abyssal, so no.
No, we don't.
Um,
If only we had tongues.
and she disappears inside the door, and a couple minutes later, she comes out, sort of helping along. Looks like it basically this old man who comes out looks basically just like a very large upright cobra.
Nice.
There's very little humanoid to him except for the fact that he has arms. But he looks old. What color? Like his daughter has sort of more vibrant color scales across her body. You can see where his are just sort of faded and sort of some pits that are falling off. This is a very old Yanti who slithers out into the living room of this home. So I've heard you're come asking about Eppley then.
Indeed we are, sir.
You can call me Zintu.
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 Thank you.
He goes, Suti, my chair. And Suti, the woman, goes and grabs what looks like a very modified sort of chair for this snake man. And he sort of settles into it. Very like old age, kind of pulls his like robe around him. It is nice to see people still looking for it after all this time.
Can you tell us about this place? Why do people look for it?
Most folks look for it because city of riches. What it was once upon a time. So they all assume there must be something still left there. I've been looking for it my whole life, find the place where at least this section of Yanti come from. And Suti just kind of sighs, crosses her arms, but doesn't say anything.
And the beast that seems to be inside of the forest. What can you tell us about that?
Zintu, like his eyes sort of glitter, and he leans forward. So, well, my grandma and her mother, my mother and her mother and her mother before that said, the beast used to be this creature that the old Yanti had captured or tamed to protect the city. And it still roams the jungle, protecting its home.
Um, is there any other tales about maybe what it is, or
My mother was never specific. Something big and old with, like, as big as the city itself. He sort of trails off, like his eyes sort of unfocused and like he's looking past you all, thinking. Some sort of Yanti sibling, something.
Would that ring any bells for Vias? Like monster
Make-
creatures?
Make a nature check or a history check.
Neither are good for Vias. 3. God, the other one was a natural 1. That's bad.
I mean, Yanti are snake people.
So
There are
barrel-
lots of creatures that are lizards.
Hold on. I have to PM you something real quick. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
There are a lot of creatures in this world that are lizard.
Yes, I know. But there's one specifically that Vias knows about. That, yeah. Give me a minute, but you can continue. I'm sorry.
It's alright.
I would roll, but that is so the opposite of Susanna's skill set, that she's just sort of sitting there.
I will actually go ahead and roll for Giona. Oh, both of those are bad. All right, I will let Joe know some things, but Diona kind of just sort of cocks her head. And Zintu just. So, are you going to go? Are you looking for it?
We're looking for somebody who went to go look for it. And may have gotten lost.
Who? Max, the boy?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the one.
Well, lots of people have gotten lost in there.
Well, we're hoping to get this one out. Or at the very least find closure for his mother.
Well, if you do go in, and you do find it, you will tell me, yes?
We'll tell you every part of the experience.
Young people still giving old snakes. And his daughter just. She sort of gives you a look like, see, what do I tell you? He's delusional. That's sort of the look she's giving you, like.
Susanna kind of like nods a little bit at her, like, yes, I see the delusion.
I will have to give you. No, I don't think I think the answer is.
Okay. Just one.
But. And she kind of steps forward and goes, "All right, now, my father needs to get back into bed. He's quite old, so."
All right.
Of course, I'm so sorry for her troubling you.
Apologies. Thank you for your information.
And he goes, "Of course, they can stay some. I still have stories." And she goes, "No, Dad, you need to get in bed." And she ushers you towards the door.
We leave.
Did we get her name at all? I forgot. It was
Yes, it was Suti.
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 Suti. I think Vias would pause and just say, "Oh, and Suti, your son's name. We didn't catch it."
My son, Thriss, Sriss. If you go back there, would you tell him to stop sending people over again?
We'll do our best. Take care.
You
And
too.
thank you for letting us talk with him.
She shuts the door.
All right.
Vice takes a deep breath. I think we should probably find a place to at least put our stuff for the night. And maybe head out, I don't know.
Yeah, did it seem like the tavern was the sort that had rooms, or does it seem like...
It was small, you'd have to ask.
All
Well,
right.
let's go talk with Circe.
You head back to the open heart. And you see Sriss there. He's sort of, he's talking to someone who came in after you all had left, what looks like the farmer type that you had originally seen.
Would Vice have gotten any information from Mercy watching them? Like that group of people?
No, it just seems they're having a conversation about, like water and water supply.
Okay. Interesting. Alright. Just curious. Yeah, I mean, I guess we should approach the bar and ask about rooms
And
if they have any.
as you approach, you hear Swiss just, I don't know, Joseph. I don't know. Hopefully it's just that. And Joseph, this farmer, goes, yeah, but what if it's not? What if summer comes and the river's still dried up? What am I supposed to do? What are any of us supposed to do? And Chris just goes, we worry about it in the springtime. Unless you want to go traipsing up there to go see what's blocked it off. And Joseph sort of settles back down in the seat, starts like drinking something from
Excuse
the
me.
mug.
Something's blocked your water supply?
The farmer just goes, yeah, the river is dried up, which is weird for the middle of winter.
I was gonna say, that's mighty queer. Wonder what could be causing that.
When did this start?
Couple of weeks ago.
Couple of weeks ago. And there wasn't any signs of it fading before?
It just kind of stopped. We've been fine for a bit. It's still, snows everywhere. It's still pure.
Strange. Usually things like that, they would trickle out, not stop completely.
Joseph kind of throws his hands up and goes, I mean, you're telling me. I've been working this land my whole life. My father before him. Me, my father before him. That river's always been steady.
Where's the source of this river?
Well, that's the problem. Why none of the watch want to go find out? Because it's any points comes from the jungle, of course.
Right. Well, I can't promise anything, but we were going to be idiots and look through there, possibly. Maybe we can investigate. Be braver than the people here that have common sense.
Well, if you're gonna go on some suicide mission, if you can find a way to break it open before you die, I would be appreciative. I'll leave a couple of tokens for you to shoot the Ravenwing Shrine.
That would be much appreciated. But I can't promise anything. We don't
We
even know
shall
this.
certainly attempt to be useful in our suicide, though, sir.
And Joseph just kind of goes, I don't know what to tell you. People don't tend to come out of it.
Well, not most people. And he just
That's what most people say.
He just ignores that and is going to ask Circe about rooms if he has any.
Circe kind of goes, I mean, we have one left. The other and he sort of jerks his thumb towards the other adventuring party. Sort of took up the other two.
Ah, that's fine. Their group is smaller than ours. They can have 2 rooms.
Cyrus kind of shrugs and goes, "They were here 2 days ago.
Oh, it's fine. It's not your fault.
I didn't think there'd be anyone else coming through."
It's fine. Thank you for your
We
hospitality.
fit more and less. It's no problem, sir. We would just appreciate a place to stay the night. What are the rates on your room?
5 silver.
All right, Susanna pays.
Thank you.
He hands over a key.
Thank you ever so much. And I hate to pass this message along, I truly do, but your mother was telling me that she asked me to pass on the message that you really oughtn't send more people down that way. I feel like I'm out of hypocrite.
He sort of rolls his eyes and goes, "It gives Grandpa some happiness. I don't understand the problem."
Can Vice
Well,
roll an
you, sir,
insight
do
check
yourself
on
an
that?
eye.
Like, did it seem like a malicious thing?
No, he just kind of.
Okay. I mean, I get it. Vice gets it. It's just. I mean, somebody's leading people into their deaths. So. Maybe it's old Grandpapa!
This just in, Shriss is a fucking murderer.
Cyrus the murderer. No, okay. But, yeah, I mean, at least we have a warm place for our stuff now.
You go upstairs. If you're checking out the room, it is a small room.
Yay!
We got this.
There is.
I'll go sleep in the wagon.
There is one cot, and it looks like the rest of you are gonna have to pile onto the floor with each other.
We
Okay.
got this.
Time to
We got
snuggle. Via starts pulling out his blankets. His whole, I think he has 10 now, or 9 or something. I don't remember
Oh my
how many he has
goodness.
right now. Let's
So
check.
opulent.
The pressure here is the
He has 8
decision
blankets.
of who gets the fucking cot.
Rock,
Zoella will
paper,
just pull out her bedroll.
sheer paper boulders.
That's not how you say the name of that game.
Sorry, common is not my first language.
Okay. Bold apartment shares.
That one. I mean, I thought I said it right. I didn't.
It was close enough. I shouldn't really pick on you. That was rude of me, and I apologize.
No, it's fine. You can pick on me. I can take it.
You can't see because she's wearing a veil, but Susanna does raise her eyebrows in like the fuck you can't sort of a way.
Vias raises his eyebrows as well as a challenge.
I really don't think anybody else takes the bed. If
Yeah, I mean, Vias doesn't care. He'd rather snuggle for warmth than stay alone on a cot, so.
Susanna would offer it to Vera and see if Vera would take it. But if Vera doesn't, and Sarah, you'll have to get back to me on this if you're listening, then Susanna would just totally take it and not regret it.
okay, so someone's on the cot, and everyone else is on the floor.
Vias is going to put Mercy on watch duty. Because she can stay awake as long as she wants, but Vias needs to sleep.
Unless anybody else had any sort of plan.
I mean, I don't think we have any other thing aside from wandering into the dang jungle.
Okay. As you go to sleep, I need everybody to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Jesus fucking
Does
Christ.
Mercy know what's going on here? She's mentally linked with Vias, by the way.
Maybe.
20. Hey. Oh, Talia.
Talia, why?
Talia and Zoella failed so hard.
Oh.
See on the
Bird.
sheet.
What happens to the fish and bird? Oh, no, the cannibal and the bird.
No,
Oh no,
Diona.
and the fish.
Diona!
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Vera and Lena better save.
Oof.
Oh my god, no, we're dead. We're so dead.
No! No! Fuck!
All our hard hitters. What the hell? Aside from
Lena,
all
question?
according,
Susanna's our hardest hitter. Aside
all
from
according to K-Cocket.
Okay,
Stop. Oh,
Hey,
Lena,
yay,
thank God.
Lena, thank God.
Thank God the fucking paladin is not.
Oh, sister.
Um,
Nice.
Jamie,
What do you want?
I'd like to PM you.
Oh no. Oh no.
I think I am also going to have to PM Josh.
Why?
Because the DC was very high.
Oh God.
Oh my god, so only me and Susanna and Lena made it?
Yep.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
why don't we just jump over to Whispers real fast?
Oh, that's probably easier. Yeah, the two of you are worse.
Okay.
Bye.
We're about to fucking die. We're about to fucking die.
Yep.
I will be right the fuck back. I gotta fill my water bottle.
Hey, we made it though. We're not
We
the ones
did.
dying.
We are the ones who are gonna get killed by our friends who are now possessed.
Also, I just
Probably.
realized they're not gonna have this part recorded, so.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll be right back.
Fuck you guys. Oh, hi, Mochi. Oh, yeah? Can you talk some more? Oh, there's a good kitten boy. He's a cute one. Okay. To myself. Do, 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 do. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. I'm all alone, with no one beside me. Yeah, heavy. I hope you guys enjoy my horrible singing voice.
And we're back.
Welcome
This is gonna
back.
be fun.
You guys have, just so you know, it's not recorded for you, so that's totally
No,
secret.
I know.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Bless. Oh, you guys are in trouble.
It's you guys who are in trouble, my friend. I'm kidding.
Oh my god, Jamie. Oh, why is the bottom of my kettle fucking gross?
Remind me to give the other failures their
Cement.
information.
Hi, Lance.
But yeah, the sun rises.
Lancy.
Alright.
Susanna and Bias, you feel no different.
What about
I have
everyone
a
else?
question.
I'm back, sorry.
I
Everybody
have a question.
Yes.
What kind of floor is it in this room?
It is a wooden floor.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, it's just Dylan's been sleeping face down on this wooden floor all night.
What a fucking nerd.
Zoella's gonna grab Vias's arm and just tug on it and point towards the jungle.
What, Zoella? What's going on?
And she makes falling gold coin sounds with her out of her and points toward the jungle.
You want to go to the jungle?
There's gold in the jungle.
Dylan tries and fails to imitate the gold shaking noise.
Oh, Dylan. Can Vias roll to see if he understands what they're talking about?
It's the sound of gold. Chink, chink,
Okay.
chink, 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 chink.
Okay, well, I mean, we're going to go there at some point, but we're not going to go to the city, you know.
She jumps up and down and nods.
No, no, no. Zoella, you listen to me. And he says this in Marquesian. You can die in places like this, you know. No, we are not going to the city of gold.
She puffs up visibly and resigns for now.
We need to find Max.
Talia kind of, at this point, Talia goes, well, I mean, I wouldn't mind if we found it.
Vias whips
points at
around to
Talia.
look at Talia.
Talia, since when do you have any interest in gold?
Well, no, but,
Cash money.
you know, it's kind of a lost city. Isn't that cool?
Cash money.
There's plenty of cool things not in a death jungle. We're here to find the woman's son.
Diona kind of goes, it could be cool to find.
Death
Put an old legend to rest. And you see Lena and you see Vera's kind of nodding as well.
Vias looks horrified.
Y'all, okay, I cannot believe I am the one saying this. We're here to help someone.
You do remember what happened the last time we went into an old place? Right?
Yeah, I did a stupid thing.
You sure did.
I could do more stupid things.
You're not going to do
No,
that
you
stupid
cannot.
thing, dear.
Diana goes, well, you know, I mean, the kid is important. Yeah, I'm just saying it wouldn't be bad if we found it.
Maybe the kid is in the city of gold.
Okay. Diana, I thought you were like the type to listen. Were you not hearing the bit with a giant monster as big as the city of gold guarding the city of gold?
That's apparently related to you, Auntie. You know.
Maybe the monster is the city of gold.
Maybe it
and
is,
if we
it's
kill
meant
it,
to
we'll
kill
get
people.
gold.
Dylan, are you really broke? Do you need money that bad?
Vias is
I don't know. Are you
confused.
really broke, Susanna?
Mercy
What?
jumps up in front of.
I asked first.
Mercy
Well, I
jumps
asked
up in
second.
front of Dylan
That
and
doesn't
pecks
change
him in the
anything.
forehead. Once. Does that do
Susanna,
anything?
you have to answer.
No, I asked first.
No.
Yeah, I
Okay,
did.
now you
Anyone
go.
could.
So you need gold.
No.
I don't need gold.
Everybody needs gold.
I do not need gold. I'm very well off on that, you know.
How else are you going to buy your guns?
Through
I don't
honest
buy
hard
my
work.
guns, dumbass.
To buy the things to make your guns.
Vera at this point steps in and goes, listen, all right, we can look for both, yeah?
We're not
Track the
going
kid
to look,
and
but we're going to. Let's not
Maybe
try
the
and
kid
find
is the
city.
city
Maybe
of
we should
gold.
just try and
Dylan?
find the blockage first.
Okay, yeah, let's make a priorities list, shall we? First up, if we happen upon the mouth of the river, figure out what's blocking it, that's great. Step 2, and the biggest, most important one, find Max. Step 3, if in the course of finding Max, we wander into a perfectly safe city of gold, sure, y'all can get some gold. But we're not going out of our way to search for this thing.
Vias is just gonna stand in front of Dylan with his hands on his hips and just point a finger at him and just say, last time we went into a place like that, you didn't come out without us. We're not looking for another city or place like that.
But that
Unless
means
it
we'll be
happens upon us,
cold.
and it's not dangerous. If it's dangerous, we're not going anywhere near it. Do you understand?
Sort of.
That's better than nothing. Look,
Diana goes, I mean, that works for me. And Talia nods.
oh god, what the heck?
I do not know. Why are you all so greedy all of a sudden? Like, why is it me who's focusing on helping people when y'all are supposed to be the good-hearted citizens?
I mean, I'm somewhat good, you know.
Vice, you are. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to exclude you from the good-hearted citizens category. I'm scolding them for being greedy. What do you expect?
Vias, you are perfect. Almost.
His
Because you're not
face
going for the
goes
city of gold.
immediately pink.
Dylan, don't do that.
Do what?
Well, at the moment, the word that comes to mind is speak, but that would be rude.
Mercy flies over to
Susanna,
you, Susanna, and pecks you gently.
Susanna, there are very few things in this world that can shut me up. Would you like to take a guess at what some of them are?
Dylan, do not
Talia
provoke.
goes,
I'm
all
thinking
right,
a
let's
bullet
get
in your
going.
teeth would be one of them.
I think Talia just kind of goes,
What
all
did
right, let's
Susanna
get
say?
going. Can we, please? Can we go?
Oh my god, please
What
don't
did Susanna
provoke each
say? Because I
other.
missed it.
You're like my sibling.
Susanna said something about a bullet, and then she just. Okay, we're going to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
I've had that in my head for like a solid 20 minutes now.
All right, you start to head out of town, and you realize pretty quickly that the side street that Suti and Zinbu live down, sort of the street sort of narrows into like a foot pathway and starts to lead towards the jungle. And just at the very like tree line, there's a gate with a fence that extends either direction for a while.
A gate to like. What the heck?
Like a gate we can open?
Sure, you can try.
Susanna's not going to open it, but like somebody else.
I guess. Vice has no strength. He can't fucking open doors.
It's just a door. Diona, won't you open that gate?
Diona reaches for it and it is locked.
Okay.
Can Zoella thieves tool?
Sure, go for it.
And we could just probably ask someone for a second. That's not in character.
Oof, 15.
It's a very simple lock and it pops open pretty easily. And as the door swings open, you can see there is a locking mechanism. Like you can see where it would be easy to lock it again, and you get the sense that this gate spends most of its time locked.
That seems for the best. Okay.
But ahead of you, the jungle sort of starts here. The trees extend very high up above the ground above, and you see past it, through the gate, there is a footpath that leads into the jungle. It's a little bit overgrown, but it's still there, and you can see there isn't much, if at all, snow on the inside of the jungle. It seems most of it's been caught by the canopy.
Interesting.
Okay. Jungle.
Yep.
Do we lock the gate behind?
I suppose we should.
I think Diona would if no one else does.
Yeah, we should do that.
So the path is wide enough for basically one at a time. What is your marching?
Susanna's at the back.
Vice is in the middle.
Zoella is also in the middle.
Diona and Talia will be towards the front. I'm moving tokens around. Don't mind.
Vias will kind of like
Okay.
wave Dylan to be near him, I guess. Not at the way back, because he's lost back privileges. He can no
Shit.
longer be the caboose.
I'm telling you, Dylan getting lost in that temple is the best thing that ever happened to Susanna.
Yes.
It's the worst thing that ever happened to him because he gained intelligence, right?
He did
No,
gain
that was-
intelligence.
That was the
the,
Christmas episode.
Christmas one shot.
Our Christmas
Oh, right.
episode.
Right. That's
Classic
so
Christmas.
funny.
Ruining things.
We did get some cool cloaks out of it, though.
Someone give him a helm of intellect.
Oh my god, that would be awful. He'd be smarter than Vias.
Listen, I can't give Dylan any more intellect. He's proficient in almost all intelligence-based skill checks, and giving him more would be terrible.
I heard nearly nothing of that, Josh.
Yeah, you're very quiet.
Great.
So do you all head into the jungle?
Let's head into the jungle.
All right.
But
Okay.
Vias will send Mercy ahead a little bit, like maybe 20 feet or so, to scout.
All right. Make a perception check at advantage. I'm sure Diona's helping out.
All right. Ooh. Well, 23.
It's certainly a jungle. The underbrush is thick and the path is very untraveled. There are a lot of roots and brush that come into it, and you have to sort of pick your way through it very carefully.
Okay.
And Mercy can see sort of jungle creatures. There's some birds, a couple like a monkey-like sort of creature that's like in some of the trees. And the further you get in, the more the jungle seems to sort of come to life, as well as it starts to get hotter and more humid. It is snowing outside, but here amongst the trees, it is warm and sticky and hot.
Susanna fans herself.
And you can hear the chirping of birds and the chattering of animals as you pass through. The path itself is a little bit wandering and weaving. It doesn't really keep a straight path, but it seems to continue on for a while.
All right.
Anything
Vias
you
is
want to
gonna
do?
try and keep an eye on the animals and make sure there's still sounds. He didn't get a direction on where the heck that river was, but I think he would want to try and find where that is first.
Make a nature check.
Oh, Talia, can you help me?
Sure.
Okay, I'm not that good with nature. 16?
The river isn't in your immediate area.
Okay. Damn it,
Joseph,
I should ask somebody.
you don't really have any idea where the river might be in this jungle.
Lovely. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Do you just keep trekking?
What do you think?
To a point, yeah. Like we trek for like a hot second, for sure. Like a stretch of time.
I mean, we don't want to exhaust ourselves too much.
The day passes and you just seem to keep walking. The jungle seems to be nearly endless. The path keeps going, but the further and further you get in, the less and less defined it is. It's still just barely there, but it is very, very slowly starting to dwindle. and you can't really see the sun overhead. The canopy is too thick, but you can certainly tell when it starts to fall to night. When it starts to cool down a little bit, and what sunlight does make it through starts to fade. And just as the sun begins to set, you stumble upon a clearing. The path sort of opens up into this clearing. At the opposite side, you can see the path continue further deep into the jungle. But in the center of this clearing is a golden statue. It is of a Yanti woman with long hair. Like it's two sides. On one side is very humanoid, on the other side is very snake-like. So it's like two figures back to back, almost.
Okay.
But it's very clear that this is the same woman. They are dressed the same.
Does it seem like some sort of shrine thing, like a goddess or something?
Make a religion check.
Okay.
Dylan goes up to the statue.
Dylan,
Don't
if you
touch
touch
it.
that thing, I will shoot you in the head.
Ooh, a 22.
Dylan looks back at Susanna.
It very much seems religious in nature.
Vias, it would, or Dylan, that would be sacrilegious. Do not touch it. Please.
You don't know what god or goddess it would be, or if it is a god or a goddess, or if it's more. You don't know what it's to, but it's very religious in nature. And you can see where it was made out of like gold or maybe brass, but it is old and weather worn, pieces of it broken off and scattered across the clearing.
All right. Well, it seems like some sort of deity.
The female, what looks like the human side of the female, the head is, and it's lost. And there are old offerings sort of scattered around the feet of both figures.
What sort of
Bug-eaten cloth.
offerings?
There's like bug-eaten cloth and empty, broken bottles. And just a bunch of other clutter. Also around the statue, sort of starting to be taken in by the ground and the jungle about it, there seems to be something old, like old rotting thing.
Old rotting thing? What?
Things, like lumps, and it smells horrible.
Just like lumps of flesh. I hate to say it, but can Susanna, like, is this like people flesh or animal flesh?
Vera, can
That's
you check
just
for undead, maybe?
Make a medicine check.
fuck.
Vera, you have. Or no, it's not you that has the divine sense.
Oof.
Oh, no.
Oof.
There are certainly people.
Oh boy.
Oh. Mm.
You can't tell what they died from, if anything. Someone else can check if they want.
It was a medicine check?
Yes.
Susanna backs up the path a little bit and
That was
throws
the same
up.
roll. We both know their bodies. That's it.
I'll give Vera a chance to. Or
Please.
that was Lena. That was.
Oh jeez, Lena. We all
Jesus
rolled
Christ.
7. Hey, Dylan.
Dylan, you sort of check over this body. These bodies sort of glancing about, and the age varies very wildly. There are some that look like they're about a couple months old, some that look like years old. And some of them have died from starvation, dehydration, exposure. But a couple of others seem to have died very violently, pieces missing and torn about, like something had mauled them to pieces.
Oh boy.
So some people didn't even die, but then some people got eaten and died.
Oh, that's reassuring.
And there's also a lot of like, the variation in the ages of these bodies. Like some are fresh, some are not.
Susanna finishes throwing up and goes back to join y'all.
Well, you got
Um,
Kenai. Good job.
Talia has sort of kicked through the bodies and is up by the statue now, and is sort of going through the leftover offerings. And they find nothing.
I think Vias would probably go in and join them, I think.
Roll investigation.
The same fucking
Awesome.
roll, Jesus Christ.
Find nothing.
What's with
What
our
is
dirty
wrong with
4s
us?
and 7s? Jeez. Hopeless. All of us.
But the sun is starting to set now.
I really wish we were anywhere but here right now.
I mean, maybe we should move to a different place that is not this one. And quietly?
I think we need to back up. We need to go back. This is bad.
I mean, I don't like to be in a shrine of a different god that I have no idea what it is.
Let's back up down the path and figure something out. Let's get away from this place.
Yeah, I don't trust the decomposing bodies.
Those could get up at any time. We need to get out.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about somebody divine sensing, but yeah, it's whatever. Let's go.
I checked both Lena and Vera's like abilities and spells. They do not have anything paired or.
Lena's a
isn't
paladin.
The
She
paladin
has
should have that.
she has
Does.
divine sense. She should be able to sense undead.
Divine.
It's hard to tell on the actual like
It is
roll
though.
20 thing.
That's like an early paladin.
Give me 1 second. I need to look at the actual like specific wording of it.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
No, that's very valid.
Bias is worried about undead. Hi, buddy.
Lena casts Divine Sense, and she says that there is certainly an undead presence, but it does not seem to be centered around the bodies.
Okay. That's a little bit reassuring, but is it
Susanna
the actual
just
place?
starts going back down the path. She's not staying here. She's
Yeah, I mean, I.
How far back do you go?
Decently far. If nobody has followed her and she can no longer see them, she will stop, but she will go for a.
I think that you pretty not too far away from the clearing. There is a slight bend in the path that makes the clearing not visible to you.
Okay.
But I think that's where Talia would kind of stop. So your options are there's area in the shrine area you can set up camp and sleep, or you can try to sleep like in this path one next to another.
Maybe we should try that. For now, if it gets dangerous, we can run away. Maybe.
Okay. You set up camp here.
Um,
It's kind of difficult being on this very thin path.
I don't know if we should do a fire. That might not be a wise idea in a place like this.
I wouldn't.
Less attention.
This is a terrible idea.
And sleep in shifts, maybe?
Oh, we need watches for this place. For sure.
Bias will volunteer Mercy and himself for first watch before the sun goes down.
All right. Make a perception check as everyone else falls asleep.
22. Hi, kitten. Hi, kitty. Hi. Hi, Mochi.
Which kitty is it?
It was the Mochi boy.
Aw, he's round like one.
He's
I need a
round.
dice.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
We're really in it this time, Mercy.
Oh no.
Oh,
Mistakes
Mercy's
have
so
been
sweet.
fucking made.
You see, as the sun starts to go down, you see something flash in the corner of your vision. Something. You're not really sure what it is, but it doesn't come any closer, and it's not. It leaves you alone.
Alright. Don't really know what to do with that. Except be very quiet. So I'm going to be very quiet and continue to listen quietly.
Your watch sort of passes. That incident. Who's taking second?
Vias will mention when whoever's going for second, about the weird flash he saw.
Susanna will take second.
Zoella will help. You can roll with advantage.
Okay.
Plus, if we need to wake people, she can just imitate a gun sound without you wasting a bullet.
Roll me a perception.
22.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Susanna,
Go, Susanna.
Susanna, something sort of catches your eye, and you turn, and sort of at the last second before this sort of ethereal, person, I want to say. It is a human woman who is a little bit above the ground and not entirely there, sort of half translucent. Reaches out with one hand and like touches your shoulder, and I need you to make me a charisma saving throw.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh fuck. Is this like, am I about to be fucking possessed?
No.
I need to know, is this a possession?
It is.
Okay, I need to roll this with disadvantage.
Oh fuck.
Oh no.
No.
What? What?
12.
Susanna! Susanna!
No.
Zoella, you watch this woman grab Susanna's shoulder, and then in the next moment sort of vanish, and this ghostly force absorbs itself into Susanna's body.
Jumping up and
Susanna,
down.
Susanna,
And
you are Susanna, you are possessed.
Cool.
nice.
That's
Jumping
not
up and
good.
down in
No,
that
it's
strange
not.
boy's voice, she'll say "ghost" and jump up and down and point at it, even though no one else can see her.
And I think that's where we're gonna call session.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
What the hell?
Parker! What the fuck?
I can't
Hey,
believe.
PK.
I'm fucking
Okay.
possessed. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something, Parker.
Oh, hi, Belle.
What the hell is up with that disadvantage?
Yeah, why that disadvantage? What the heck?
There's reasons for it.
Yeah. Fuck. I did not think I would get possessed this fucking soon in a fucking campaign, but what?
PK,
Also,
my heart is
PK.
pounding.
PK, I realized I could just tell you what I wanted to tell you about Zola's backstory in whispers. Let's go to whispers.
Let's go to whispers. All right. I will be typing to you, Parker. I gotta text this.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna stop recording now on that note.
Whoops, ghost time.
Oh god.